Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry. So listen. This show is special because I've known this woman for multiple decades. Okay, multiple decades, 1 decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, and she just celebrated a big birthday. I'll let her tell you which one it was. But it was we got in the car and we went all the way to Flint, and I just had a good time, and I just love seeing her in her energy. She's an Emmy Award winning broadcast journalist, but more than that, she is really a friend, and she's really going to tell you about how to own the room. How to own the room. She has probably was born with a microphone in her hand or megaphone. I don't know, with a microphone and a megaphone, but she's a anchor, television news anchor, and she's going to really talk about how to own the room, how to really uh, step out there and get out there and get known. That is really what the show is all about. So with that, after this, you're going to hear a little bit more about Dawn Jones.
Welcome to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast. Join Pam Perry, veteran PR strategist, Emmy Award-winning producer and publisher of Speakers Magazine, who will show you how to crack the code in getting out there to get known. Each week, she either interviews her media friends, PR colleagues, or she just goes solo, offering you strategies on publicity, publishing, and platform building. So listen up to hear how to get booked on media places and on superstar stages. Now, here's your host, Pam Perry.
Hey there. So I'm a little intimidated because I'm trying to be a producer over here with this Emmy Award winning journalist. So I'm going to do something that I normally don't do, but I want you all to see this little sizzle reel. I won't say little sizzle, this sizzle reel of Dawn Jones before we kind of get started, because it is so cute. It's inspiring. And then right after that, I'm going to bring up my girl, Dawn Jones. Okay. Because you got to see this. You got to see this right here. Okay.
Ain't nobody there. I am the Lord and so are you. Comparison is the thief of joy. Your journey, your yellow brick road, is paved with your own unique footprints, with your stories, your bruises, your breakthroughs. And I don't care, you don't have to gatekeep, you can give them the recipe. No one can duplicate it, and no one can replicate it. And ain't nobody bad like you.
That is Dawn. That is Dawn. How are you, Miss Dawn Jones?
I am amazing, Dr. Pam. How are you?
I'm doing good. Ain't nobody bad like you. So I want to tell everybody that you have been that way for a long time. Okay. Always a little extra. Okay.
Little extra. Little extra.
I love it. And so I want people to know that we've known each other. You were working in Detroit, originally born in Flint, but you're working in Detroit. You were working at Radio One at the time. That was a station owned by Kathy Hughes. And I think we first met, you were maybe working at WJZZ.
Yeah, I think when you first met me, I was working at WQBH.
Yes,
with the Queen. Yes, that is where I started 14:40 a.m. You know,
yes, and with the Queen,
I think that's where we first met.
Yes, she was the first African American woman-owned radio station in the country, I believe, even before Kathy Hughes. And so
the Queen.
That is it. And she was a mentor to many. I really miss her. She's gone on to be with the Lord, but she's probably causing all kind of stuff up there, getting everybody right, because she would just basically get you right.
She would. And I took my kids a few years ago to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, and to my surprise, I walked in to an area of the museum, and there was Martha Jean the Queen. She is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I heard her voice, and I had a moment. I really had a moment. She took me under in Cleveland, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And she took me under her wing when I was very young and taught me some things about people and connecting. And things that I use today, and which has been a part of my long career. I adored Martha Jean the Queen, and appreciate everything she did for me.
Yeah, and she was very spiritual. Actually, she was a pastor, which was, I mean, she just broke all kind of, she trailblazed, broke all kind of molds. Okay.
And she did.
She really, really did. And then the next station after that was?
I started to do traffic. I left QBH and went to do traffic for JLB.
JLB, that's where it was.
JLB and JZZ. I did traffic for JLB and JZZ.
Yeah, and people should know that's also a family-owned, one of the first African-American-owned radio stations in the country, the Bell Broadcasting, WCHB, JZZ, all of that. So they were together well, they started on Easter, but I think they were under one house when you were there.
Well, when I was there, CHB was in Inkster. That was the AM station, and JZZ 105.9 was on Grand River, I think it was, a Grand Boulevard. It was on Grand Boulevard. So.
Yes. So you were there. Okay, so then you went from QBH to then JLB. JLB is still there. It's still like the number one urban radio station. Okay.
Yeah, so I did traffic for both of those stations. And where did I go after that? I went to Kansas City. I went to Kansas City for a minute, very short minute. And then I came back to Bell Broadcasting and did talk radio at CHB. Remember, CHB became a talk radio station.
And that was came back. Was that owned by Radio One at the time?
No, I never worked for Radio One. I was back in Flint when Radio One took over.
Okay. But your friend Vicky was there.
My friend Vicky, my dear friend Vicky was there. She sure was.
Yes, Vicky Preston. I remember you all had a birthday party together. Okay.
Yes. And she is still my dearest friend to this day. Very rarely do you meet people who become dear friends as an adult.
Yes. You all celebrated your 30th birthday on top of the Pontchartrain. I was there for that one too. Okay. I was there for that one. And let me just tell everybody. So this is like girlfriend talk. I'm gonna keep it clean, but she had on the most micro mini dress that I have ever seen. I said,
and it was green. Wait, and it was green. I remember the whole thing. Yes.
I said, this is how Dawn does these things. And so then 30 years later, let me tell you, I traveled to Flint. And what did you do there, Miss Ma'am? You chose.
It was 60 years of the Dawn Factor.
Yes.
And I had 4 wardrobe changes. Yes. 4 wardrobe changes that represented, I think, all of my styles. And one of the wardrobe changes was actually a costume, because this year I decided to do lip sync for the first time. And I decided to become Tina Turner. For my very first time, I decided to be Tina Turner. So
we can do that. Yeah.
So my co-anchor and I, someone I work with, we decided to do Rod Stewart and Tina Turner, It Takes Two. So we did an encore performance of that at the 60 years of the Dawn Factor birthday party.
Oh my God. And
so it was amazing.
So within this, she also, because she's always been in media, she's always doing these things. She had a mini documentary about that. And I don't know if that's going to be on your website or where that's going to be, but I'm
going to upload it. Yeah.
Okay. So put that on the website. It'll be at DawnJonesMedia.com. And so this whole thing, Dawn has been doing media, radio, broadcasting for a very long time. She's back up in Flint, ABC affiliate. And listen, when Mark, my husband, came and saw you actually in the studio, you were doing all the things and just like breathing. It was just like, this is what I do. But the main thing, it's natural for you. That's been like your gift. But now you're really showing and sharing with people how they can own the room too with their voice. So kind of tell us about how the ebook that you put together came about, because a lot of people, the biggest fear they have is really speaking in front of people. So
it is. Yeah. It really is. I was surprised to learn that the fear of public speaking is one of the, if not the greatest fear that people have, even more so the fear of dying. We have fear of spiders. We have fear of so many things, but it's the fear of public speaking. And I don't think people realize that we're public speaking every day,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that we are all storytellers and we are public speaking every day in the grocery store. We are, when we are speaking in public with our children, with our friends, we're speaking in public.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned most over the past 38 years in broadcast journalism as an anchor on TV and behind the mic is the
And Emmy
secret.
Award. And Emmy Award. I want to throw that in there too. Yeah.
Yes, is the secret sauce is really in authenticity. That's the secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And what I talk about in my ebook, Speak, Overcoming the Fear of Public Speaking and Own the Room, is people are more interested in connection than perfection.
Yeah.
And once you connect with your audience, once you connect with whomever it is you're communicating this idea, this feeling, this data, whatever it is you're sharing, once you make a connection, then the door opens for grace. So there's no need to fear, because once we're connected, then the door, the person on the receiving end is connected and the door opens for grace. So I'm on TV. I do 2 live shows a day, 1-hour shows. That's 10 live shows, live shows a week. I mean, 10 live shows a week, 2 a day, 10 live shows a week. And there's 52 weeks in a year. So minus 2 or 3 weeks of vacation, that just lets you know how many live shows I do. Mm-hmm. December will be my 25th year.
Wow. Wow. I love that.
Have things gone wrong? Yes, they do. Do you make mistakes? Yes, you do. You can't do 10 live shows a week for 25 years and nothing ever happens. But once you connect with your audience, once you've already set the standard and made a connection, there's room for grace. And I think if people really understood that people want to give you grace, you don't worry about the mistakes. Connect with your audience.
Out of the many years you've done, what has been like the most, I guess you would say, embarrassing, most like frustrating? What was the worst thing? I mean, did an eyelash fall off? What were some of the things? Did you mispronounce someone's name, like, oh, the wrong president? And I know you didn't do that, but
yeah, I didn't do that, but you never want to convict anyone who has not been convicted, and you never want to kill anyone who is not dead. So I have done that, and it was horrible.
Oh no, that happened. That has happened. I've seen that on major networks when they pronounce. I think the gentleman that I want, Jim Brady. Mm-hmm. Jim Brady. They had pronounced Jim Brady dead, and I remember, I think it was Dan Rather. They told Dan Rather that he was dead, and he was not dead. I think he was. I forgot what president he was protecting, and he was dead. And then they came
Ronald
back.
Reagan. Ronald Reagan.
Yes. And they came back and said was Dan Rather was hot. You hear me? You don't need to get this together. I was like, okay, because that's one of the worst things. The family's watching.
It's like, you never want to do that. And when you're doing local television. So this is local television, and there were 2 elderly ladies, both victims of crimes, same area. Mm-hmm. Separate crimes, but both victims of crime. One passed away, the other didn't. Mm-hmm. And I got them mixed up. And it's the most horrible feeling to
the community. Because the community
to kill someone who is not dead. And we are a local station, and that family was watching in that moment, in real time. So not necessarily embarrassing, but something I'll never forget, because the way I felt afterwards, and there are no do-overs. There were really no do-overs. I didn't realize I had mixed it up until the phone started ringing after the fact, and I was off television. So I felt horrible. I apologized several times I felt it was just a miscommunication between my producer and I, and what I read and what I thought, and it was pretty bad.
When newspapers do that, they have to do a retraction, but that's the next day. But on
Mm.
live television, it can happen more often because you're in the middle of it. You don't have time for it to print and then fact check and that sort of thing. I remember a lot of times when people who are just doing lives, just lives, like a podcast or whatever, and especially women, like maybe the wig will slip or the eyelash will fall off and those kind of things. And I remember it, and I don't know if you remember this or not. This was Sarah Jakes. She was preaching, and Sarah Jakes, Bishop Jakes's daughter, and her wig fell off.
Yeah.
And she literally picked it up and put it back on, and she became a hero. People love the authenticity, like she was like, "Well,
authenticity is the secret sauce. It's the secret sauce."
Yeah. And that is the thing. And you've always been that. You've always been that. So give me how this joy, what do you call yourself? The joy.
I'm a joy practitioner.
Joy practitioner. So where'd that come from? And when did that come up? Was that after the children, before the children? While where was that at?
And Dr. Pam, I did some soul searching, and I really wanted to find out, who am I? What makes me happy? What makes me sad? What do I want out of this life? Who am I? And I realized that I love to laugh out loud. I appreciate the small things in life. I understand that joy and chaos can exist at the same time. You can be in the midst of chaos, and you'll find yourself laughing at something so small. And I choose joy every day. I decided that joy fuels me.
Yeah.
And it's an active choice. And I actively choose joy every day. So when I say I'm a joy practitioner, it's like any other practitioner. I practice joy every day by choice. Joy makes me feel good. Joy makes my joy makes people around me feel good. My joy inspires other people to find their own joy. So I am a joy practitioner. I always have a smile.
You do? I will say that for someone who's known you for many, many years, she always does have a smile. It's infectious. It really is.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the joy practitioner title came from, because when I was doing this deep dive into who am I realized I'm always smiling. I always have something to be happy about or joyful about. And it's because I have consciously decided to choose joy every day.
I love that. Have you ever thought at one point in time, like in another career, maybe to be a stand-up comedian?
I have not thought that, but people have thought that for me. They have thought that for me for many years. And when I think about it, I don't have a routine or anything like that. I'm just being authentically Dawn. So I don't know how that translates to someone's stage.
Right. But you could do stand-up. I saw one lady, she's doing stand-up, basically telling stories about her teenage children. And the whole skit about everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
How, they get and I can't think of her name, but anyway, but she was imitating her daughter, and it's hilarious. And so part of it is like, maybe that might be something that, you did the Tina Turner thing, and
I did.
And maybe you do the comedy thing, just do open mic one night and just see what happens, but I digress. So
may.
Yeah. So let's talk about, and that's a little bit different than speaking. Okay. Because now you're going to have to really depend on those laughs. And I understand that it's a very hard thing to do if you don't get them in bomb. But let's talk about your book of owning the room, speaking up and owning the room, because you wrote for Speakers Magazine. It's on the website. They can go and they can read that there. But let's talk about some of the things where you coach people through it's not just media training, because they have to talk in sound bites. That's a whole nother thing when you interview people.
Mhm.
But when people have to do a presentation, or what is always the most fearful thing for me is when I have to give a toast.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, okay, everybody's like, oh, looking for these words of wisdom and those kind of things, whether it's like a bride and groom or it's a big birthday party, those kind of things. It's like, say something. And I usually don't, because it's so weighty. Like, that's a big deal. You don't want to mess
Mhm.
up anyone's bride and groom toast, and you don't want to mess up a 50th birthday toast. So I usually don't, or I usually practice a lot. But if they say do it on spur of the moment, I'm like, oh my God, because it's so weighty. But what are some of the tips that you can give people that are, the other thing too is like, when people, if there's a memorial service and they want people to come up, that is always, because it's so weighty. I mean, people are really, so those kind of things. But give us some tips on how to get over those things, because it's important to share the words, but not be nervous about the words.
Right. And I think preparation cancels a lot of the fear.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes, yes, you will be asked to give a toast, and you will be asked, in the moment to say something or
Words. Yeah.
words, and in instances like that, I say stick to what you know. Stick to what you know. If you are asked to give a toast at someone's 50th birthday, obviously it's someone you know, or you would not have been asked to give a toast.
Mm-hmm.
So in an instance like that, stand up, make it short. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out. It needs to be meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not necessarily long, but meaningful. It needs to have impact.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to create something. Say what you know. So if
Yeah.
you were giving a toast about me, Dawn is always smiling, and I'm wishing you 50 more years of joy, love, and laughter.
That's it. And that will be it. Instead of all the chatter in our heads
All the
about,
chatter in your head and you're overthinking it, it doesn't have
yeah,
to be that. Why are
that
you
part.
here? Why are you here?
Yeah.
You're here to celebrate someone. Why is this person worth celebrating? So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm asked to give a toast on the spot, why am I here? I showed up. So obviously, I think this person is worth celebrating. Why
Mm-hmm.
is this person worth celebrating for me?
Right.
So when you're asked to give that impromptu toast, just rely on that. Why am I here?
Mm-hmm. Does it matter what a person is wearing to how they would speak? So if they were more conscious of what they, obviously if you're in television, your wardrobe is everything, right? They're going to
Right.
make sure that you get the makeup and hair. I don't know how much you all spend on wardrobe, because I'm sure that's a lot, because you judge it on, before you even speak, they're looking at what your hair look like. That's a whole nother thing. But
It is.
so how do people, I guess you would say, adjust themselves so that they're more confident in speaking when it comes to wardrobe and things like that? I guess
You
more
know,
than the men.
I, in the ebook, I talk about being comfortable,
Mm,
and you have to be comfortable. Yes, there are certain rules about what's professional wear, what's this, but you have to be comfortable. And I think I say in this ebook, if you are comfortable in that lime green suit or your leopard print dress, if that's what boosts your confidence, then put it on.
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
wouldn't recommend it, but if that's what boosts your confidence, if that's what makes you feel as though you can walk in the room and you can own that space,
Yeah.
then put it on.
It
People are always judging. And Dr. Pam, I say I am too much for some, not enough for others.
yeah. Yep. You do always
So
say that.
I'm looking for my people. The
Mm,
rest are my people.
mhm, mhm,
And there are 8 billion people in the world, so there are lots to choose from.
mhm. It's kind of like Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is always known for wearing very extra, very rhinestone,
Oh,
always hair up, bouffant, that kind of thing. And she'll even make jokes about, being, you know, full figure up top and
yes.
that kind of thing. But she was very authentic, bless her soul. But no one has I've not seen anything on social media, anything bad about Dolly
About
Parton
Dolly Parton.
because she has just been herself. Her
Authenticity is
yeah,
the secret sauce. And if my lime green suit and my leopard print dress, if that's my jam, then I'm gonna show up
yes,
being my best self.
yes. That's exactly what Dolly Parton did. She's like, this is my jam. I'm gonna wear this.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that and people appreciate that. She wasn't changing because people say, oh, that's too much. You need to tone it down. She was like, nope, this is what I'm gonna do.
Because
That
she knew she was gonna be too much for some, not enough for others.
that's it. That is it.
So
I
you
love
might
it.
as well show up as who you are because you're going to be too much for some, not enough for others.
Mhm.
And she owned every room she went in.
Yeah, yeah, she did. She really
And
did.
it's because she was Dolly. And you knew when she arrived, you knew exactly what you were getting. You knew exactly who she was. But more importantly, she knew who she
She
was.
was. Yeah, she
Mhm.
did. She was Dollywood. She let you know I'm Dollywood. I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
That was
So
it. So the couple of minutes that we have left, if someone is in the local area and they
mhm.
are in want to get into television or that kind of thing, they've obviously want to pitch you maybe to get a story on the air. What is some of the things that you look for when you are selecting stories for what you will cover?
A lot of times when we have our editorial meeting in television, and that's where people who have pitched stories to me pitch stories to other reporters, we come and we bring all those stories to the editorial meeting. We we look a lot of times for impact, like
Mhm.
who, and news directors are looking for maximum impact, like they want to impact the most people. So if I do, let's say I do a story about a cat stuck in a tree. It's a human interest story. But how many people is that really going to impact?
Mhm.
And that's what news directors look for. For anchors and people like myself, we look for stories to connect us to the community.
Okay.
We're
Mm,
looking for stories, the crime stories and the government stories, they're always there. They're not going anywhere. We're covering those stories. Local government, municipalities, providing checks and balances on politicians, local governments, and crime stories. They're always there. But if someone's pitching a story, we are looking for how does this help us connect with the community by telling this story?
mhm.
What is the community impact of this story? If you're
Mhm.
pitching a story, I would advise that you know your who, what, where, when, why, and how.
There you go. That part.
So if you're
Mhm.
pitching, I can't advocate for you from inside the newsroom for us to do the story, and the information is limited.
Right.
So you need to know why you want us to be there. Why are you asking us to come? Not just because you're having an event, but
Who
what's the
cares?
impact of the event?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Why
Who
should we care about your
cares?
event? And you
Mhm.
should know your why before you get to me and I start advocating on your behalf. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
But we
That,
love stories that connect us with the community. Uh, we love stories that uh, spark conversation, not necessarily
yes.
debate, but spark
Mhm.
conversation. We
Yeah.
love stories that inspire.
Mhm.
And we love stories that teach, that share information. We uh, love stories that highlight people who are doing good every day. Those stories help to restore hope.
Yeah. Yeah. And people love hometown hero stories too. They
They
really
do. So those are the types of
do.
stories that we look for, but you have to know, as you know, you're pitching the story, why you're doing it and why we should come. You need to be your one-man hype team.
Yes, that's
because
it.
airtime is precious. Television airtime is precious. We only have so much of it. And with the way media is going these days, we only have so many resources.
Right. Yeah. And people have to know, like, who cares? And it's not an advertisement. It is a human.
It's not. Yeah. It's, you know, we call it earned media. You know, it can be earned media, but you don't necessarily have to buy advertisement for your picnic in the park where you're giving kids backpacks. That's what we should do. We should cover those kinds of stories because they have community benefit.
Yeah, that's a good example, Dawn. That is a good example. So if you're trying to do a commercial, trying to benefit,
that's a different department. The commercial department is different.
Yeah. That's different. When you're trying to do good in the hood, in the neighborhood, those are different stories. Those are human interest stories. So I wanted you to
community impact.
Yes. I wanted you to really have that and really talk about that. Well, Dawn, I appreciate you.
It's over. No, I don't want it to be over.
She has been up all day. So you know what? I've been trying to get her on here for a long time. So I know she's like, ooh, another talking. But thank you. DawnJonesMedia.com. Go there. You'll find all the things. You'll find the ebook, how to get in touch with her. If you need coaching or training, she's doing that as well. So that is something that she can help you with as well, to kind of get over that quote unquote stage fright and own the room. So thank you so much for joining Get Out There, Get Known. And you just have a good rest of the evening, Miss Lady. And I look forward to I'm looking forward to that next big birthday party too, you know? Because I don't know.
I like a good celebration. So the next big one might be next year. No.
Right. Or doing the stand-up comedy. So work on that routine. Okay.
Okay. Right. You'll be the first to know, Dr. Pam.
All righty. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Pam Perry.
Thank you.
God bless.
You've been listening to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast, brought to you by PamPerryPR.com, where you'll get insider tips on how to build your platform, pitch the media, and promote yourself with confidence. Head over to PamPerryPR.com and get the exclusive video training on the 7 must-have marketing materials you need before you pitch in order to be considered in media places or superstar stages. PamPerryPR.com, where you help you shine like a superstar.